this development. And the government has... Yeah, so we've been here this morning picketing against the development of the Seaport's land, which is 549 acres of land. 200 out of that is mangrove wetlands.
549.
549 is the total acreage.
Yes.
200 plus of that is wetlands. And the plan to develop the wetlands too. So we're here trying to make the public aware of the importance of a wetland. Because without the wetlands you don't have any marine life. Right? And it's a filter for all the debris coming from the land into the sea. And Big Creek, which is part of this flood zone, takes water from far up as Buckley's and Liberta and those areas coming all the way down here. So we are concerned about what impact this will have on the area, especially as I say the wetland. There's been no information coming from the government, no information from the DCA, no information from the Department of Environment or the EIA. So we are only presuming a lot of things. We need information to see how this project will affect us.
Has there been any sort of consultation with the people in these communities?
None, nobody, not even. They have several small landowners in this special economic zone. About 4 families that I know of who have had that land for years, going back in the 30s. And they have not even notified them to let them know, well, what is going on, what is happening. All they see is heavy equipment, bulldozer and everything down in the special economic zone. There's no guidance as to how they are clearing the land. Most of the trees have disappeared. So we need government's input, the DCA and the EAG and EIA.
Yes.
Where are these organizations?
Now, Vernon, you spoke about 549 acres of land and 200 plus being wetlands,
yes,
mangroves and so on. Can you give us an idea, give the viewers an idea of where this land spans? Because
okay.
I understand it goes all the way down to 5 islands.
Okay, the special economic zone puts and bounds property of Sir Robert Hall and 5 Islands area, which is Keith Edwards section. It comes into the block area of Jennings and 5 Islands. So it's not in one section, it's in 2 sections. And this area, as I said, is used for the special economic zone. We don't have no problem with the development, but it needs to be thoroughly examined and exposed to the public as to what the plans are.
Yeah.
The public, Antiguans have interest in this as well. It's not a one-man show. We need to know what is happening in our country. So therefore, I think the government needs to come out with a proper plan, let the people know what is it they intend to do. And the developer has to have guidance. You can't give a developer free range to do whatever he wants. He must be controlled.
But that's what the DCA is there for. They are the authority that will determine, and the environment will determine whether mangroves and wetlands should be protected.
Exactly. So that is why we need to get these organizations involved, because they seem to be at the sideline and afraid to come out and say anything. What are they hiding? We don't know. But when they look at the agreement, it gives the developer free hand to do anything without interference from the DCA or the EAG or any of them. The man can do anything he wants in there.
Now, I wanted to find out from you. Most of these lands were private land.
That's right.
So the government did not actually sell land.
No.
But tell us, perhaps you can give us an idea as to how the government got involved in terms of the concessions, in terms of the plans and so on for this particular piece of land.
Well, okay, the government is trying to encourage development, which I agree. You need development to sustain the economy. But you don't give away everything to a developer and the country doesn't benefit. There's absolutely nothing we're going to gain out of this development, besides maybe selling some food in the supermarket to the people who work down there. There's no taxes, nothing. Everything is free. All this needs to change. The country is a poor country. Every week we're borrowing money to do something. And we have a developer here who intends to develop 549 acres of land free into perpetuity. So how can that work? We need interference here from the government and the authorities.
Okay. So give me the core message that you want to leave with the government and with the people of Antigua and Barbuda. What's the core message that you want to leave?
They need to scrap that agreement. That needs to go out the window. The whole thing needs to be reviewed, and the country needs to benefit from this development. Not just the developer. We want the country to benefit.
And you want consultation with the people.
Definitely. The people of Ebenezer, Jennings, Creekside, Golden Grove, all those people you down here. So they need to be informed of what is taking place. We have no clue. All they know, the land is being cleared and it's a special economic zone. So that gives them the right to do as they like, which is wrong.
Have you seen the developer at all in the area?
Yes, I've spoken to him.
Okay.
You see, he's trying to soften up things, but the agreement is in his hand, signed by the Prime Minister. So he has authority to do whatever that agreement says.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, and thank you for organizing this program this morning.
Thank you. Thanks for taking it.
Yes, we are live here in the Big Creek area. Sorry, I keep saying Big Creek. It's the Little Creek area. And we are, of course, trying to bring some awareness to the public about the 549 acres of land, 200 plus wetlands, mangroves and so on in the Western Imperial Economic Zone. I don't know if you want to say a few words to us here, give us an idea. Good. Good to see you. Good to see you. And of course, she is one of the daughters of the late Sir Robert Hall. And your land actually butts and bounds this.
Yes, but this has nothing to do with our land. This has to do with the swamp and the potential danger that our swamp will be put in. It's one of the few swamps left. So we realize it's going to affect the whole fishing industry. I mean, when Jolly Harbour swamp was destroyed, look at how many fishermen went from dependent people who made their own living. They're now dependent on somebody to give them a job. And this is going to create another situation, as well as a shortage of food supply. There's very low for the time being, kind of there, but it used to be more abundant, and it's been affected by swamps being cut down and removed. We can't allow this to happen to this one. It's like the last stand. Yeah. And we have to make it get through to developers that our laws are our land, and we can't have two sets of laws in our land. We need one set of laws. If they don't like our laws, we'll go somewhere else. Our laws are our land, and we all live in this land under one law. Not a set of laws for one set of people and another set for us. So I have to make a stand.
Yes. And I think one of the things that Vernon mentioned is that there's been no real consultation
No.
with the people about what is proposed for this
Nothing.
land,
No.
particularly the mangroves and the wetlands.
They need to talk to the people and lay out what they're planning to do. Show us plans. There's really no plans. And we need to see that. And we need to see it in writing.
Yeah.
And promises made and a handshake. To me, we need promises put in writing. So that if they break them, we have something to fall back on. We have the law to defend us. We cannot have people today in this age doing a handshake and everything will be so. Somebody else will come and take over and change it. If it's in writing, it cannot be changed. So that is what we would like to see.
Thank you very much. This is
Yvonne
Macmillan. Thank you very much for standing up for the rights of Antiguans and Barbudans and protecting the wetlands, the environment of Antigua and Barbuda.
We have to defend them. I joined the environmental group years ago. So this is the last step. Really.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you for talking with me.
Great. And we are going as usual, trying as much as possible to get the views of the people of the community, the people who are protesting here. And I see Senator Jonathan Joseph. He, of course, is one of the leaders and the potential parliamentary representative for this community. Senator Joseph, why are you out here this morning protesting with the persons in the community about this Western Imperial Special Economic Zone and the 549 acres of land that they are developing?
First of all, let me say good morning. And let me say here from the very beginning, I'm not against investment, I'm not against development, I'm not against employment. For the better part of over 3 years, most of the young people in my constituency, they are without work. They were told to get their tools ready, sharpen their tools. They have done so, and to date, they have not been given any jobs. So I'm about employment. I want to be clear about that. I want to see my young people out and working. But as it pertains to this development, there are questions that we want to be answered. We have our wetlands, over 200 acres of wetlands, and we are concerned about that. It's a breeding ground for fish, habitat for different species of birds. What are the guarantees that we can have that our wetlands won't be destroyed? And I'm specifically concerned because of the fact that permission is given in the agreement that they can build underwater and above water. What does that mean? What does it mean for the wetlands, our mangrove? And I believe in paying taxes, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar. And these are billionaires. And they should pay their taxes as well. They should give Caesar what is Caesar's. And you're saying to me, you're saying to us that in this agreement, for the duration of this development, that they are exempt from paying taxes, and we should be paying our taxes with all their millions. They are exempt from paying taxes. It is wrong, it is criminal, and we want answers. And I'm saying that there are areas in this agreement that I am calling on the Prime Minister to revisit and let it be in the best interest of the people of Antigua and Barbuda.
Thank you for standing up, Senator. And we certainly will be following this development very closely to see whether or not there are any consultation. And I think this is something that even the parliamentary representatives should be out here standing up with the people, because this is destruction of the wetlands in his community as well.
And look, I mean, we send him to Parliament to represent us. And you have a development like this, the magnitude of this, and no consultation with the people in St. Mary's North, the buffer zone. It takes in my home. What does it mean? The people, we have genuine concerns, and we need the representative to answer those questions. You must be in the know. You're a member of cabinet, and there's no way that this project is going to go on and you have no knowledge. Similarly, while I'm here, let me bring this to the fore, because we have all heard of the lands that were taken from Danny Joseph, who happened to be his nephew. Forget about that, the relation. But over 15 acres of land taken from a farmer. He has not been compensated. And we have seen activities with the Chinese. We have seen a 3-room residential home being built there. We don't know if it's a mother house. We don't know if the arrangement is on that 15 acres houses are going to be built and we purchase the homes. We don't know. We're asking the questions, and our representative, up to this day, it is mute. He is mute on the situation. And starting last week, we're seeing adjacent to those 15 acres that the Chinese are again clearing more lands, and we're asking questions. I'm saying our young people, they want their lands, they want to build, they want their own homes. They've been denied a piece of land through chopper, and we're seeing these land over 15 acres taken. Are they going to get a piece? What's the arrangement? Are you going to build homes and they purchase? And what's the deal with these additional lands that are being taken? These are questions that we have in St. Mary's North, and it affects St. Mary's South just the same. Right? And I just want to put that to the floor.
Thank you very much, Senator. Very, very good. You're on the ball in terms of bringing the issues that affect your constituents to the fore. And even as you deal with this particular matter, you're keeping your eyes on another matter that is of importance.
Yes, but I really want my young people to be working. They have sharpened their tools. They have gone out and they have purchased tools in the anticipation that all these investments and the jobs were going to come. And for years, the tools are lying there, right? If they're investments, if work is going to be there, sure, I want them to work. But we have our concerns.
Thank you very much, sir. That was Senator Jonathan Joseph. He is the UPT standard bearer for the constituency of St. Mary's North. Good morning, good morning. I'm so happy to be able to speak to Mr. Winter. He is an environmentalist, he's a community leader, he's an activist, he's an intellectual.
He's just a citizen of Antigua and Barbuda.
He's a citizen of Antigua and Barbuda. Brother Lindley, Mr. Lindley Winter, please. I want to get an idea of what are the main concerns of the people of this community as you picket this morning this special economic zone of Western Imperial?
Thanks for the opportunity. What I'll say first of all, this activity was organized by the movement and in conjunction with persons from nearby communities. Many of us have been aggrieved as far as what we see as a horror in document form in relation to the Western Imperial Special Economic Zone. As far as the legal document goes, statutory instrument number 87 of 23rd September 2021. And likewise for what exists in relation to the yield development in terms of the statutory instrument of 2015 that gives rise to that. They're both very similar. And what is disturbing, Senator Joseph just mentioned about the whole idea that these investors have been permitted to build above and below water. We're talking about 200 plus acres of wetlands in this case here, which is, as far as we know, the largest wetland we have in Antigua. And just like Yida, which also has a fairly large wetland area as well, mangroves and so forth, these are two areas where lots of fishes spawn. If you go down, those of us who are familiar visiting the beach down at Seaforts, on the beachfront itself, when you're in the water, you're accustomed to see little schools of fishes, you know, small groups of fishes swimming around. That's because they spawn nearby. It's the home to a host of things like shellfish and cockle, crabs, various species of crab. The persons who I know who are involved deeply in environmental affairs, they tell me over 20 species of bird, several of them being migratory birds, which depend on there from time to time. And this developer has been allowed to do as he pleases. We do not know how that will likely affect people and also the ecology. Worse yet, while the rest of us are subject to the prescriptions of the Physical Planning Act, which gives the DCA authority, and the Environmental Management and Protection Act in relation to the Department of Environment, they have no jurisdiction in this operation here, just like at Yida. Both of them can regulate their own activities. Now, how the hell can the guard guard the guard? So clearly, there is no lack of intelligence on the part of those who signed on this document. What we have is a lack of interest for the development of the state and the whole idea of the sovereignty of the state, because we're talking about creating a country within a country. We lose a whole lot of things. These people are so wealthy, yet we are subsidizing them by way of absolute tax concessions, as the senator said, for the entire life of the operations. They pay no taxes, they pay no duties. They can bring in as many people as they want to work, and we have they're not allowed to pay any kind of work permit, and we have got to facilitate them inside of a week. Now, this is clearly something that was deliberately thought of and signed on to without any concern or regard for the longevity or for the sovereignty of the state, because what we have in real terms are states within states operating here.
Is it very similar to
they have their own customs?
The special economic zone for Yida.
For Yida,
yeah.
Right? So it must be frowned upon. It is a horror, a living horror that we must object to and stop. No government that cares about its people and its country would do this. No one working on behalf of the people would do this. Clearly, this has to be self-serving. This has nothing to do with our actual development. And I've heard the notion being expressed about these being lost leader. I know they call oxymoron. You know, so there is nothing in this for us to take away as a benefit. Despite it being private lands, that does not give one the authority to do as he or she pleases, because there must be regulations. And if they're not answerable to any of the entities of the state, then clearly you've given away your sovereignty, the right of us, the people, to ensure that we are not left worse off at the end of the day. And so these must be scrapped. Full stop.
So what are your core points? The core takeaway points that you would like to leave with the Prime Minister, his cabinet, with the people of Antigua?
Well, for everybody, that there's no benefit for us. This is like a parasite, like a tick sucking on the blood of the people. There is nothing, as I say in biology, that is symbiotic in this case. This is absolutely parasitic, and it has been enabled and facilitated by people who are supposed to have been representing our interests. It meant that they were representing their own interests instead. They must go.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Mr. Lindsay Winter, a member of the movement, and he's also an environmentalist.
He's not never labeled himself as an environmentalist yet. Always a very concerned citizen.
Activist, concerned.
He's a citizen.
A citizen, a very conscious citizen.
Only two offices he has, that of citizenship and that of father.
Okay then, citizen and father in Antigua and Barbuda. And we're just bringing you some of the signs on these placards. Large destruction of trees, stop ecocide, ecocultural side. And I think we're going to visitors have dispersed. Help stop the rape. Yes, yes. I said, wait up. Take your knee after our next man. God have mercy. Alright, there you go. So some of the picketers there expressing on placards. And if I want to stand here and try to give you a good capturing of the land. Some of the land goes all the way down to Seaport, all the way back to all that land owned by or formerly owned by King Edward, Five Islands. So it's spanning 549 acres, and in that 549 acres you have 200 plus of those lands being wetland, marshland, mangrove, and that is the eco life that these protesters are talking about. They want to see that protected, and they want, of course, the developers and the government to speak to, consult with the people. Rapid response. Something is happening in Jennings. That's an emergency vehicle there. That's the Little Creek Bridge. To make their way to and from St. John. And I'm thinking of wrapping up the broadcast. For those of you who joined us, I'm going to just speak to one more person here, and then we are going to wrap up the broadcast. But it has been a pleasure bringing to you all of the action here at the Little Creek Bridge on this good Tuesday morning. Beautiful Tuesday morning. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Morning.
I just wanted a quick word with you as we wrap up our broadcast. How are you doing? We just wanted to hear from you in terms of your concerns, because you're out here with the activists trying to protect the wetlands, the environment, the mangroves. Give us an idea, sir, of why you decided out here this morning to picket this
Well, the real concern for me is the mangroves and the whole development in general, because the document that is attached to the development allows the developer to do as he pleases. There's no authority in Antigua that can step in and control or supervise how the development takes place down there. Not even DCA. Right? They have no authority down there according to the document. Nobody is opposing the development. Right?
a certain extent. The document that has been released is showing a development that is going to be destroying the mangrove, which is going to destroy the whole harbour, which is going to destroy all the barrier reefs on the outside, because all the young fish start at the mangrove, and this is the largest mangrove with a true connection to the ocean. So it's a massive nursery for repopulating our marine life, which is our food security, right? So we are opposing the development based on the document that's attached to it. If the development was to go forward with this document, the word coming from the developer is only his words, saying he is not interested in what that document allows him to do. Well, if that is so, change the document, put it out to the public,
Put it in black and white.
put it in black and white,
Yes.
let the public have a say, and we come to an agreement that's going to be complementing our wetlands and our food security and our marine life, which all of it is attached to tourism, everything. Once you destroy things like that, you can't get them back. So that's really what the picket is about. The picket is not about no development. It's about how the development is going to take place and what is actually going to happen down there. And with a document like that attached to it, it's just telling us destruction, regardless of what anybody else is saying. So that's our real reason.
But I would have thought that this area would have been part of our protected area. If
Yes.
you're talking about 200 plus acres of wetlands and mangroves and so on, which would be the nursery for our fish and our
Birds, everything.
yes, birds and so on. I would have thought that this would be protected by the Environment Division.
Well, it is, but because this comes under a special economic zone, none of those laws apply to the zone.
Oh wow!
But
Yeah.
how can that be? That is a national asset to this whole country. That is security for people that live here. When it's destroyed and gone, what are the people going to be left with? Those that rely on those marine life reproducing in there and repopulating our reefs with fish. You know, people come to the Caribbean for the beauty of the water, our marine life, our environment, our wildlife habitats. They come to see all of this stuff, so why are we destroying it? Even though the developer says he is not interested in this destroying it, the document allows him to do so if he so pleases, without any say from DCA, environment, or anybody. And that is the issue with the whole development. So we're not against the development. It's how it's done and the powers that the document gives the developer. That's the main concern.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you very
sharing
much.
this with us.
Thanks for coming over.
Yes, okay, great. So, this is actually the end of the protest.